closing for tomorrow at 3, so I figured let's see how I prepare for a closing. So the documents were emailed to me and downloaded them, printing them, simple. So I have those docs here, and what I typically do is, of course, separate them because they're 2 sets. Yes, this is a small package. It's a buyer's package. It's cash, which I don't do them often because, not a lot of people are purchasing with cash, at least not that I know. But if you were out there and you need a notary, please let me know. But yeah, so this is a very small package. Usually buyer's packages are anywhere from, at least with using having a lender, right? A finance purchase, those can be anywhere from like 60 to, I think the largest I've had was 250. All depends on the lender and the different companies that you're doing, purchasing your home with. But cash deals are very small. How many pages is this? 9 pages. 9 pages. So awesome. Especially because I don't really like printing out a lot of pages. Save the trees. So I just take a look, go through everything, separate the buyer's documents, the buyer's copy, because I always print 2 copies. Want the signed copies and then a copy that goes to the buyer or seller. Did I print it like this? Why did I print it like that? Is it collate that setting? For some reason it's checked off. I always have it checked on, so it prints one set and then the other set. For some reason that was checked off, so now I have to figure out the pages. Great. The printer prints better on Wi-Fi. Okay, so I have all right, so this is going to be the buyer's copy. Really, it's just in case I miss a page. I don't have a printer in my car. I am doing it at an attorney's office, but it's just reflex at this point. I go to the attorney's offices, so worst case scenario, they can always print out the pages, but that might take a longer time. So, and my direct client uses these vinyl folders, so I put them in here to give to the client. We take pictures at the end, and then I work on the set that I'm using. So I usually just kind of go through it, see what are, really it's none of my business what it says, but I kind of just go through it. I look at what questions they might ask, which would be their purchase amount. So I just find where on the HUD, the settlement statement, I just find where that is so that I know if they have a question, hey, let me double check those numbers. A lot of people want to make sure that the numbers were discussed over the phone, that was an email, is on the documents that they're signing at the end of the day. So I make sure to point out those numbers, which is usually the purchase amount, interest rate, if any, but this is a cash purchase, so none of that will be there. Their attorney fees, whatever other fees that they paid, I just kind of like point that out if they want to know. If they don't, it's point and sign, even better. So I just make sure I look over where are the pages that they're signing so that I'm familiar, and you sign here, third page. I've already mentally practiced before the signing. I also have this paper. To save time, I guess I really just utilize the prep. Like in the prep time, I like to write down, or I try to write down, because instead of doing it at the end, so much is happening. Pictures everyone wants pictures at the end. Everyone kind of wants to leave after. It's just a lot happening. So I like to, instead of recording the notarizations during, which I can, I feel like it takes up time a little bit. Oh, excuse me. I feel like sometimes that can take up time. I would rather do it in my prep if I have time to prep. So I have this little, I'm not sure if you can really see, this notarization sheet that has some of the documents that are on here, and I notate them here. I've tried notating them beforehand and the closing might not happen, and now I have to scratch out those boxes in my notarial journal. So at least I can take this with me at the end, and instead of sifting through mark, I'll mark them on here. Once it's done, I'll just easily, okay, 2 people sign this, yada, 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 yada. You don't have to do this. I like to do this. I think it would make it a bit faster, and of course, keep me up on my journal. The general notary work is easier because it might be 1, 2, 3. Oh, mark it in the folder, mark it in the book, and we're done. However, in this situation, it can be 11, 25 notarizations. So I rather just put it down here, and then easier instead of whatever. Let's keep it going. The next, we have a judgment affidavit. At the bottom, the notarial certificate is a jurat. So I am just going to find that on my little sheet here and put that as a jurat, and who it's signed by. I'll put the signer's initials, or both, if it's both signers, but in this case, both buyers. In this case, it's only one. And I do fill in the parts with like my commission number. Not always the county, just because I don't always know what county I'm going to be in. Or I like to double check and confirm while I'm physically there, hey, we're in this county, right? So I don't fill in any of those parts. My signatures, none of that. They asked for my commission expiration, so that's what I filled in. This one is an E&O document that requires another jurat. So I am going to find that here and mark that. This one doesn't have the state and county location, so I write that at the top. State of New Jersey. County of blank. I don't write the date in, but I know tomorrow's still gonna be October. That's not gonna change, so I will write in October 2024, because those things are going to be tomorrow regardless. We have another compliance agreement. So this one is also a jurat. We have a contact information form, so I will bring that to the front while I am signing the documents or writing their ID information. I usually give them the contact information to fill out while I do that, so there's not too much awkward silence. I'm not a big chit chat person, so I like to fill that in a bit before I get into my questions, because if I talk and write, I don't know how some people do that. I will write what I'm saying, and I can't do that on the documents. And then, this is the last paper. I can't write that on the documents because they're not supposed to go on the documents, right? This also doesn't have the notarial verbiage. This is the buyer's survey affidavit. Another jurat signed by the one borrower, and 9 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4 notarizations. This is extra. I probably will be continue to do this on my iPad because I don't like to waste paper, but I wanted to see what this would feel like, and how that would work with on my closings. I've made it a long time ago and just never put it into practice, but now that I'm going more into, closings are picking up, I guess, I want to see how this works, and to also enter them into my notary gadget, how many that I do, and have that in, my accounting situation. This one, I think I mentioned, doesn't have, oops. This is why I don't talk and write. This is why I don't talk and write. I didn't write. Stay up. But yeah, see? That's why I don't do that. Alright, 9 pages, we're done. Obviously, that would have taken a bit longer if this was a traditional closing. This does require funding, so I will scan these back at the end of the closing tomorrow so that we can get funding approval. I use these folders by default. I used to have different ones, but now I don't always get legal size documents. I usually get that maybe from external clients requesting notary services. It depends on the lender, depends on the title company, all that stuff. So I just keep these. They all fit in here. This doesn't necessarily need a rubber band, but I would then put a rubber band around it. Take my buyer's copy, close the little flap in here. It didn't get a shipping label. The last all cash closing that I did, all they needed was a scan for funding. They didn't need the originals. I didn't need to mail anything back. So I'm going to have that just in case, but usually I put the label in the little sleeve here. I put this in there as well in my little poly folder. I got this from Staples, I think. I need another one. Everything fits in here. So I have the copy that we're going to sign, the buyer's copy in its little folder. Everything in here, and that's it. We're ready for closing. I do then, oh, I should put this in there. I will put it in there. Yep, that is all. We're then ready for a closing. I usually then prompt clients when I get there to we're going to take pictures, what I'm here for, what questions I can answer. But if it's at the attorney's office, the attorney will answer any questions, and I'm just there to let them know what the document is. If they want further explanations, they can ask their attorney who's present. If I do it within the home, I also advise them I only am letting you know what it is, what this is used for. If they like further details regarding whatever they're signing, depending on if it's the lender document or a title document, depends on who we're asking. But usually people are fine and don't have like too many big questions, whether I'm doing in-home closings or at the attorney's office. But yeah, that's it. That's all I do to prepare for the closing. I go through them. I see where it needs to be signed, look for the numbers that I need to look for, and fill in some of the notary pieces. Again, not my signature, not my stamp, just the state, the month, the year. Those are going to be that regardless. I don't put the date on it. Tomorrow's the 31st. I'm not going to put that on it until I am physically there. And yeah, I used to use sticky notes, but the little sign here stickies, but that took forever to prep, especially when you're having back-to-back closings. But it really helped me out in the beginning so that I didn't miss anything. I don't really need that now. I don't need my handhold like that anymore. It does look neat to people. They do appreciate it, especially if they are, which I've done for like, business people where they're like on the phone and trying to sign. So they're not paying attention. It works for them, but also sometimes I'm still right there like sign here, sign here, sign here, sign here, sign here, because they won't pay attention to the stickers either. So it just all varies. I'm rambling now. That's what I do to prepare for a closing. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out and ask. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.